Look who showed up, the woman Mark traded in for an upgrade. I wanted the sand to swallow me whole. But 30 minutes later, the groom, a 6'3" Navy SEAL in dress whites covered in medals, stopped the entire reception, looked me dead in the eyes, snapped the sharpest salute I've ever seen, and said with a cracking voice, "Ma'am, you saved my life. Thank you for your service." The same people who were mocking me seconds ago didn't know whether to clap or hide under their tables. That moment changed everything. And this is how it happened. That MY name is Emily Harper, 32 years old, single mom to the sweetest 8-year-old on the planet, Lily. 10 years ago, I thought I had the perfect life. I was married to Mark, high school sweethearts, white picket fence, the whole fairy tale. Then, one rainy Tuesday, I picked up his phone to check the weather and found messages that burned my eyes. "Can't wait to feel you again tonight." Signed with a heart from someone named Kay. Turns out Kay was his 24-year-old co-worker, and again, meant for the last 14 months. 14. While I was home packing school lunches and reading bedtime stories, my husband was in hotel rooms laughing about how predictable I was. When I confronted him, he didn't even deny it. He just shrugged and said, "You stopped trying, Em. You got comfortable." Comfortable. That was the word he used to justify blowing up our family. The divorce was brutal. He fought me for everything. Even convinced the judge I was emotionally unstable because I cried in court. And the worst part? His entire family took his side, especially his sister Sarah. Sarah, the golden child, the one who always had perfect hair and a louder laugh than everyone else, stood up in court and told the judge I had driven Mark away with constant negativity. She smiled at me across the courtroom like she'd won a prize. Fast forward 2 years. I'm picking up the pieces, teaching third grade by day, volunteering at a veteran support group by night, because helping other broken people somehow keeps me from falling apart. That's where I met him, except I didn't know it was him yet. Online, under the username Silent Warrior 88, a soldier poured his heart out about nightmares, about losing half his team to an IED, about coming home to an empty shell. I wrote back as Hopeful Heart 27. I told him about breathing through panic attacks, about how my little girl's smile was the only thing that made mornings bearable some days, about how kindness from strangers on the internet had kept me alive after betrayal. We messaged for months. He called me his guardian angel. I never sent a photo. He never asked for one. Then came the invitation in the mail, gold foil, heavy cardstock, the kind that screams money. Sarah was marrying Lieutenant Commander Jake Reed, United States Navy SEAL, Bronze Star with Valor, the hero every news station wanted to interview. At the bottom, in Sarah's perfect cursive, "Family is forever. We hope you can join us." I knew it was a trap. Sarah wanted to parade her perfect new life in front of the woman her brother had escaped. My first instinct was to burn the invitation. But Lily saw the picture of the beach venue online and begged, "Please, Mommy, I want to wear the sparkly dress Aunt Sarah bought me last Christmas." How do you say no to that? So there I was, walking into enemy territory with my daughter's tiny hand in mine. The second we stepped onto the lawn, the whispers started. Sarah's bridesmaids in their matching blush dresses formed a little circle and giggled. One of them loud enough, "Wow, she actually showed." Bold. Sarah floated over in her pre-wedding silk robe, air-kissed both my cheeks like we were best friends, and cooed, "Emily, sweetie, you look comfortable." Comfortable. Same knife, new twist. Mark was already there, arm around his new girlfriend who couldn't have been older than 25, smirking like he'd won the lottery twice. Cocktail hour was torture. Every toast felt like it had a hidden jab. Sarah's maid of honor actually said into the microphone, "To love that lasts, not the kind that fizzles out because someone forgot how to keep it exciting." The crowd roared. I smiled like my face was made of plastic, while my insides shattered all over again. Lily squeezed my hand and whispered, "Mommy, why are they being mean?" I had no answer. I was one step from grabbing my daughter and running when the string quartet stopped playing. The groom had stood up from the head table. Jake Reed, taller than I imagined, shoulders that looked like they carried the weight of the world, eyes the color of someone who had seen too much. He was staring straight at me. My heart slammed against my ribs. He stepped down from the dais, every metal on his chest catching the sunset, and the entire wedding went dead silent. He walked right up to me, stopped 2 feet away, and in front of 300 guests, raised his hand in the crispest salute I have ever witnessed. His voice didn't shake, but tears rolled down his cheeks when he said, "Ma'am, 2 years ago, I was ready to eat my service pistol. One woman on the other side of the screen told me the sun would come up again and that I was worth waiting for. That woman is you. I owe you my life." Then softer, just for me, hopeful heart 27. It was you all along. You could have heard a champagne bubble pop. Sarah's face went white as her dress. Mark's mouth actually fell open. Lily looked up at me like I'd grown wings. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I felt seen. The silence only lasted 3 heartbeats, but it felt like a lifetime. Then Jake dropped his salute, stepped forward, and wrapped me in the kind of hug that says, "I've got you without words." Over his shoulder, I saw Sarah clutching her champagne flute so hard I thought it would snap. When Jake finally let go, he kept one hand on my arm like he was afraid I'd disappeared. He turned to the stunned crowd and spoke loud enough for the ocean to hear. "Most of you know me as the guy who runs in a gunfire. Truth is, 2 years ago, I was the guy who couldn't get out of bed. Nightmares every night, bottle every day, and a loaded Glock on the nightstand with my name on it. One night, I posted on a veterans forum that I was done. One person answered, not with pity, not with empty it gets better lies. She told me her own world had exploded, that her little girl's laugh was the only reason she opened her eyes some mornings, and that if she could keep breathing, maybe I could try one more sunrise. She signed every message, hold the line. I did, because of her." He looked back at me, eyes shining. "That woman is Emily Harper. And tonight, half this room spent their energy tearing her down for sport." Sarah found her voice first, shrill and shaking. "Jake, baby, this is insane. You're embarrassing me on my wedding day." He faced her, calm as a sniper. "Actually, Sarah, we're not married yet. We were supposed to sign the license after the cake. Good thing we didn't." Gasps rippled like a wave that he pulled out his phone, held it up so everyone could see the screen. Emails, dozens of them, from Sarah to a guy named Tanner, "Don't save my number." Dates that lined up perfectly with Jake's last deployment. Hotel receipts. A selfie of Sarah took in Tanner's bed wearing Jake's dog tags. "I forgave the first time," Jake said quietly. "I was gone 9 months. I told myself you were lonely. But then I found out you helped your brother hide his affair too. You gave him your apartment key so he could cheat on Emily. Same couch, same lies. I can't build a life on that foundation." Sarah's maid of honor tried to grab the phone. Jake lifted it higher. "Already sent copies to myself, sweetheart, and to your parents, and to Mark." Mark went the color of old oatmeal. Sarah lunged at me, claws out, screaming that I'd hacked her accounts, that this was revenge. Jake stepped between us without effort. "She didn't have to hack anything. You left your iCloud logged in on my laptop. Rookie mistake." Then Lily, my fierce little 8-year-old, stood up on her chair and yelled, "My mommy helps people. She doesn't hurt them like you." The crowd actually cheered for my daughter. Cheered. For us. Jake crouched to Lily's eye level. "Your mom's a hero, kiddo." Permission to give her another hug. Lily threw her arms around his neck like she'd known him forever. He straightened and looked at me. "Emily, I came home from war thinking no one would ever see the real me again. You saw me when I was just words on a screen. You saw me when I couldn't see myself. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, but I know I want to start it by buying you and this amazing kid breakfast. No pressure, just pancakes and gratitude." I laughed through tears. Actual laughing. I hadn't done that in public in years. Sarah stormed off, heels sinking in the sand, bridesmaids trailing like confused flamingos. Mark muttered a lame, "I'm sorry, that I didn't even acknowledge." I was too busy feeling the weight lift off my chest for the first time since the day I found those texts. The DJ, bless him, read the room perfectly and put on Sweet Caroline. Half the guests pulled me onto the dance floor. Someone handed Lily a sparkler. Jake spun me once, careful, respectful, then let Lily cut in so she could dance on his boots like he was a giant tree. People kept coming up to apologize, to say they'd had no idea, to ask how they could donate to the veterans group where I volunteer. The same women who'd whispered comfortable 2 hours earlier now begged for selfies with the guardian angel. Later, when the moon was high and Lily had finally crashed on a lounge chair under Jake's dress jacket, he and I walked to the water's edge. You know, he said, I re-enlisted twice because I thought the only place I mattered was downrange. You taught me I can matter right here, too. I nudged his shoulder. You taught me the same thing tonight. I stopped believing I was worth defending. You just proved me wrong in front of 300 witnesses. He smiled, soft and a man that sigh should be allowed. So coffee tomorrow? Or do I need to salute you again first? I pretended to think about it. Salute's optional. Showing up is mandatory. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a different beach chair, same ocean, different story. Lily is teaching Jake how to build a drip castle while wearing his cover. She calls it his hero hat. Mark sends child support on time now and signs every text, thank you for raising our daughter so well. Sarah moved to Phoenix. Last I heard, she's selling essential oils and avoiding social media. And me? I still teach third grade. I still volunteer. But now when I walk into a room, nobody whispers. They smile. Because they remember the night a Navy SEAL saluted a quiet woman in a blue dress and reminded every single one of them that real strength doesn't always wear uniform. Sometimes it just shows up in the messages you send at 3 a.m. to a stranger who's losing hope, telling him the sun will come up again and that he's worth the wait. Hold the line, guys. Your sunrise is coming. And when it does, may someone strong enough to carry the world on his shoulders stand up and salute you for you too.